Hi there. Oh, I think you've got my groceries as a whoopsie. It's just my name is Gareth. So those are my Vogels. Cool. Good day to you. And I'm just going to quickly make sure that I got it. I might just take that. Probably just let go now, I reckon. Yep, okay. Oh, still holding on. I'll help you with that. And that's made it immediately worse. That'll wash out. It's gonna wash out. So how'd you guys all meet? You guys mates or unusual family?
If you grew up in New Zealand, there's a strong chance Vogel's was somewhere in your kitchen, or at your cousin's house, or your nana's. When it came to toast, it wasn't the soft white loaf that stood out. It was the dense, grainy slice that felt different from everything else on the shelf. Vogel's bread was first baked in New Zealand in 1967 in a small Auckland bakery on Farmhouse Lane. The man behind it was Hans, also known as Johan Klisser, a Dutch Jewish refugee who arrived in New Zealand in the 1950s after surviving World War II. Much of his family perished at Auschwitz. In Auckland, Klisser established a bakery and began producing a dense, wholegrain-style loaf that would eventually become Vogel's. He worked alongside his business partner Dr Max Reizenstein to expand the operation. The name came from Swiss naturopath Alfred Vogel, whose grain-based bread recipes from the 1950s inspired Klisser. However, Alfred Vogel did not found or own the New Zealand company. The New Zealand Vogel's brand was independently developed and produced locally by Klisser and Reizenstein. At the time, most supermarket bread in New Zealand was soft, white, and highly refined. Vogel's stood apart. It was darker, heavier, higher in fibre, and packed with mixed grains and seeds. Its moist, compact texture made it particularly suited to toasting, and it developed a steady following through the late 1960s and 1970s. As demand grew, ownership eventually shifted. Hans Klisser, who first baked Vogel's in New Zealand in 1967, sold his business, Klisser's Farmhouse Bakeries, to Goodman Fielder in 1990. Following the sale, the original company was dissolved in December 1994. In 2015, Goodman Fielder was taken private through a joint venture between the Singaporean agribusiness Wilmar International and the Hong Kong-based investment firm First Pacific Company. By 2019, Wilmar International acquired the remaining 50% stake from First Pacific to become the 100% owner of Goodman Fielder. As a result, Vogel's now sits within a major international corporate structure. Despite these global shifts, manufacturing for the New Zealand market has remained local, primarily through facilities in Auckland. Over the decades, the brand expanded beyond its original loaf. In 2004, Vogel's introduced breakfast cereals, licensed to Smart Foods. Gluten-free variations were later added to meet modern dietary needs. Although the Vogel's name appears in multiple markets, the products are not all the same. In New Zealand, Vogel's is owned by Goodman Fielder and manufactured exclusively in New Zealand, including dedicated facilities for gluten-free loaves, and is known for its dense, moist, wet-baked texture and thicker toast-style slices. In the United Kingdom, Vogel's is produced under license by Finsbury Food Group through its Nicholas and Harris Bakery in Salisbury, with a narrower range and generally lighter, sandwich-style loaves tailored to British tastes. Vogel's previously had production under license in Australia, including at a Sydney-based facility, but that manufacturing has since ceased, and there is no dedicated Vogel's baking plant operating there today. As a result, any availability in Australia largely comes from imported New Zealand product rather than local baking, because ownership, recipes, manufacturing methods, and regulatory standards differ by region. The bread does not taste or feel identical in every market, despite sharing the same name and Swiss-inspired heritage. In 2024, Vogel's and advertising agency DDB Group Aotearoa tackled a uniquely Kiwi breakfast problem: how to achieve the perfect slice of Vogel's toast. Because of its dense, high moisture texture, most toasters need multiple cycles to brown it properly. So Vogel's partnered with the warehouse to test hundreds of toaster models and badge each with a certified toaster setting to help Kiwis get consistently great Vogel's toast every time. Over the decades, the brand has expanded beyond its original loaf. Marketing campaigns have evolved, but the core product identity, a heavy, whole grain loaf, has remained central to its image. As of 2025, Vogel's remains one of New Zealand's most recognised bread brands. Since its introduction in 1967, it has moved from small-scale bakery production to inclusion within a multinational food group, while continuing to be manufactured in New Zealand for the domestic market. What began as a post-war immigrant baker's whole grain experiment became a nationally distributed product, later integrated into an international food system, yet still associated for many households with a very specific kind of toast. So what do you think? Has the Vogel bread changed from what you remember? What's your favourite Vogel hack? Toasted with Marmite? Or maybe jam? Or just toasted with a fried egg on top? Drop a comment below, like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe for more stories behind the brands we grew up with. And as always, stay curious.